So guys, I've played Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 now for about 22 hours. And the embargo is that we can't play past the certain quest, which is about 10 hours in. I'm nowhere near. I'm literally nowhere near finishing that quest. I haven't even started that quest. I've done about 15 quests, but the vast majority of the time I've spent playing this game, I've just been exploring and just doing what the hell I want to do, just to see how far the game will let you do what you want. And the good news is, it'll let you do what you want, which is, well, most of the time, which I'll come to in a second. But first, let's start off with the settings. I played this in 1080p. I tried VSync on and off, so I had it locked at 60, and I never ever got a single stutter running it on high with DLSS off. There was no upscaling on whatsoever. It was all running native. And then I took off VSync to just let it go and see how many frames it would generate in 1080p on high. And I got about 85 up to 90 frames on certain areas. And the game looks great as well. The graphic settings go higher than mine, obviously. I'm running an old rig, 2080 i9 with 32 gig of RAM. But that's good news, because if you have an old rig, you'll be able to play this game. I was playing it fine, and do you know what? It just looks really nice on certain areas where you go. In fact, there was one area that looked so nice as I was riding along. I wasn't watching where I was going, and I smacked my head off a tree branch and knocked myself off my horse. But what's the game like? Well, it has quite a few cutscenes, which I never like a lot of cutscenes. But it does set the game up nicely, the story-wise, which is fun, the beginning. Then it kind of got a bit stale for me, because I was getting cutscenes during fights, which I didn't like at all. They stop once the general intro is over, but I don't know if there's any more, but I haven't had any now for a long, long time. But I don't like that, because it just essentially is you're doing something and a cutscene happens, showing you doing something completely different. It's bollocks, really. The quests are pretty unintuitive most of the time. I mean, you do get map markers showing you where to go, but they aren't reliable at all. I had a quest where I had to carry a drunk who fell out of a tree, and he gave me vague instructions on where to go, which were too vague. He says, go around the bush. I was like in a fucking wood full of bushes and look for a fallen down tree. Well, I found about 4 fallen down trees, and there was no markers showed up on the map at all. Don't know if that's a bug or not, but I ended up just killing him. A lot of people died during my playthrough, guys. Many innocent. In fact, most of them were innocent. It's the kind of game where you just like, yeah, that's the main story. Yeah, they're the side quests. But I've got a horse. I've got some armor. I've got a sword, a shield, a crossbow. I don't give a fuck. I'm doing my thing. A big open world, which is fun. Yeah, let's do it. And I did. I did have one quest where I'd kind of stuck to it, where I had to free a guy who'd been imprisoned by a saddle making guy. And I just rode into the town. Like, have you seen Pale Rider, Clint Eastwood? I rode in like that. And I just thought, you know what? I'm not going to bother with all the stupid dialogue. I'm going to go in, and every single person, man or woman, who's in your barn area, your shop, they're all going to die. I walked in, introduced myself just to make sure I was in the right place. He says, yeah, we've got him. We've got the prisoner. And then he insulted me, and I just thought, big mistake. He died. His farm hands died. His wife died. And I had such a bloodlust that when I went to free the prisoner, I also killed him. And then I robbed blind all the bodies and hid them all in the back barn area where the dead prisoner was. And so we had a huge pile of corpses there. And then I got on my horse and I just rode out of the town like Clint does at the end of Unforgiven. It was great. But on the other hand, I had a quest where I was actually contracted to kill somebody, and I thought I would do the same thing by walking up to him, not even engaging in dialogue. He was on his knees praying, and I thought, I'm just going to come up behind you and just run you through. And the game wouldn't let me do that. And I thought, that's very odd. That is very odd. It wouldn't let me do that. And the game pretty much lets you do what you want. But that was an instance where it just wouldn't let you. So I was a bit disappointed at that. I mean, talking about what the game will allow you to do, I was playing this woman at dice. And, you know, you'll be doing well. You'll have a few good rolls and you're miles ahead. Then all of a sudden she'll chain about 4 good rolls together and beat you. And she just pissed me off. So I just got up from the table. I was pissed off. And I just thought, you know what? I'm going to pummel your fucking face with me fists. So I just started smacking her in the face, banging her head off the fucking wall. And I was having fun. I was enjoying it. Fucking little fucking chicken. You know, it was great. And then this guy, he comes up behind us. What are you doing? He starts hammering us. And I just thought, right, there's me fucking sword, smack you in, and then kill him, murder them. And then I was in a frenzy, kill everybody. That's the trouble with this game. It allows you to do so much. And I ended up getting captured, put in the stocks, and branded a criminal for the rest of my days.
Executioner, carry out the sentence.
So I reloaded the game. Let's talk combat. The combat has been overhauled from Kingdom Come Deliverance, and you've probably noticed that when you're in a sword fight, you can see that the area where it shows you the directional aim has changed. You no longer have bottom left, bottom right, which were hard to get to on a mouse and keyboard. The mouse wasn't really accurate enough to hit them. I didn't. Well, for me, it wasn't anyway. And so I was so happy to see the back of them. What you got now is you've got left, right, up, and then the down motion is the stab. And you have a shit ton of combos that you can learn to chain moves together for people who are a bit more proficient at swordplay. And you need to have these combos off to fight the tougher enemies. You can't just spam in this game. It's not a Ubisoft game. You literally can't spam around like an arsehole. You'll die if you do that. You'll run out of stamina, first and foremost. There's riposte, there's lots of blocking. There's lots of perks that you can put in, but I'm going to go more into that when I review the game, when it releases. I just want to give you a rough preview now. I won't be scoring this. This is just like a first impressions. Overall, I'm having fun. I really am, even though there's been frustrating times, like I said, on some of the quests. But overall, the best time that I'm having in this game is when I'm just saying, I'm not doing a quest today. I'll wake up and think, F it. This is a day where I'll just do what I want and just ride around this open world on my horse and see what happens. And I always have better adventures than any of the quests. It's true. You have the best adventures in this game when you're just making your own shit up. You know, like, I wonder if I can go in there and murder everybody in there and rob them and get away with it. It's just great. I've got a chest that stash all my stolen goods in that, leave them for a few weeks until everybody forgets, and then go and sell it all for profit. Buy better weapons, go to the trainers, train hard with your sword so you get your sword play up, your agility and your strength so you can buy better weapons. It's the same as Kingdom Come in that sense. If you don't practice, you'll be shit. You've got to practice, you've got to... I mean, I stood in front of a target firing me crossbow for ages just to level it up. And, you know, you're getting better and better with your aiming as you do that. So a lot of that's the same as it was in the first one, which is good. It's going to be a huge, huge haul, this game. It's going to be, well, it is. It's a massive, massive game. I've seen the review guide of this, which is huge, and I'm not going to follow it. I mean, it says don't follow it. It says only follow this guide if you need to. I'm burning it because at the end of the day, I just want to play it my way. I want to take me time. I want to just be Henry. And speaking of Henry, this pissed me off a bit. All the work he put in on Kingdom Come, getting his stats up, and then you get him in this, and magically he's lost all his abilities. He's just useless. He can't even hold a fucking crossbow properly. It's wobbling over like he's had fucking 20 vodkas. It's all over the place. He can't use any of the heavier weapons, or he can't even use a broadsword. He doesn't have the agility or strength. You have to work on them. It's like, hang on, how has he... And you start the game, he's an actual bodyguard to a lord. So it's not like, you know, something bad's happened to him. You start the game where that first one left off, and you've just lost all your abilities, and that's a bit of an immersion breaker. I would have much rather, and I mean, I love Henry and I think he's hilarious, but maybe they should have either had a great reason why he's lost all his, like a total memory loss or something, or play as a different guy. But it is a bit weird. I found it very weird being Henry and not being able to even blacksmith certain weapons, hold certain weapons, or fire a bloody bow. It was just a bit kind of... Anyway, I can deal with that. It's not a game breaker at all. And it is fun starting again, I guess. And I suppose people who never played the first one, well, you're in for an absolute treat. If you did play the first one, I still think you're in for a treat. I can't score it. I can't really rate it. That's against the NDA. But what I will say is I'm having a blast with it. It's a very sandboxy game, and you can do what the hell you want within reason. And that's great. So keep an eye out for my review. It'll be here on the 4th or the 3rd, I think it is. The embargo lifts. But anyway, it's going to be in February. See you later.